Hello everyone, I hope you all are having a great day. This is one of the epic matches in chess history. This is Paul Morphy versus Adolf Anderssen 1858, and this is game 9 of the match. The first game of the match was won by Anderssen. The second game was drawn, and probably got used to Anderssen's style, and he won the next 5 games. And the final result of the match is the match took 11 games, Morphy won 7 games. Anderssen won 2 games and 2 games were drawn. And I will show you this game as this is my favorite game that Morphy won. So let's start the game. Paul Morphy is white and Adolf Anderssen is black. Morphy starts with e4, Anderssen goes c5, the Sicilian defense. And now instead of going knight to f3, Morphy goes for d4, the Smith-Morra gambit. We have c captures on d4, knight to f3 and knight to c6. Anderssen doesn't really want to go for the gambit, so he transposed into the normal Sicilian. Knight capture on d5. We have e6, and now Morphy plays knight to b5. It wasn't really provoked with pawn to e5 move, but Morphy play knight to e5, d6 by Anderssen, and now bishop to f4. Already this is move 6 and Morphy is attacking this d6 pawn 3 times, with the bishop, queen, and the knight, so really provoking Anderssen to push e5, which he does. Anderssen played e5, bishop to e3 was played. And now Anderssen played f5, a very modern approach to this opening. Maybe a6 was a safe approach here, but he played f5. Morphy wasn't really worried about f capture e4, and as you will see, Morphy isn't worried about f4 as well. Morphy played knight b1 to c3, allowing f4, which Anderssen played, although this was too much. There's is really no point. Morphy is already developed and you're playing f4, losing another tempo. Just to win the bishop on e3, Morphy plays knight to d5, offering a bishop sacrifice. Well, it's interesting that even if Anderssen didn't laid this f4 move, if you play something like a6 move, he would play knight to e5, and after this knight is captured, bishop to b6. Now with the tempo on the queen, and after queen moves knight to c7, check, winning the rook. But okay, we have f4, knight to d5, and here Anderssen captures the bishop. F capture on e3, Morphy plays knight b to c7 check, king to f7, and queen to f3 again with the check, and Anderssen covers up with knight to f6. Here Morphy played a silent move but a deadly move, bishop to c4, and now threatening all sorts of nasty discoveries after this knight moves. And well, what do you play here? Anderssen played knight to d4 here, now threatening to capture the queen on f3, and also in some variation knight capture on c2 with the check, so Morphy plays knight captures on f6, now opening up a check from the bishop on c4, so the queen cannot be captured yet. d5 by Anderssen, and Morphy plays bishop captures on d5. And this is definitely the critical moment of the game. Anderssen has couple of options here. He can play king to g6, he can play king to e7, or he can play queen captures on d5, so let's see this queen captures on d5 idea. If queen captures on d5, knight captures on d5, knight captures on f3, g captures on f3, e captures on f2 with the check, king captures on f2, and rook to b8. Because the rook was attacked, and after rook to b8 the material is about equal. I mean, Morphy is up a pawn here. Even though he has the bishop pair, he is completely undeveloped. And Morphy has knight on c7, knight on d5, and both rooks are ready to jump into the game on an open file. So much preferred position for white. So after this, bishop captures on d5 check. Another option was to play king to e7, and this was the strongest move. Although Anderssen played king to g6, if king to e7, this would actually be playable for black. BQs after queen to h5, threatening queen to f7 check. Anderssen has this resource, g captures on f6, now this f-pawn defends e5, and he does allow f7, but this doesn't give white anything. After queen to f7 check, king to d6. There is no way to continue the attack for white, as this knight on c7 is attacked twice, and after knight captures on a8, knight captures lane c2 with the check. Now king to e2, and not capturing the rook but knight to d4 check, and depending on what Morphy would play here, it would be a very playable position for black. But this never happened, as after bishop capture e5 check, Anderssen played king to g6. And this allows Morphy to execute the move queen to h5 with check, forcing Anderssen to capture the knight. king capture on f6, and now this is the great opportunity for Morphy to make the mistake. For example, knight to e8 with check. It seems like a really good move, but it actually loses completely. Anderson could capture the knight with queen, and if queen captures, black has this move bishop to b for check, and you will lose your queen and the game. But of course, Morphy wasn't gonna make a mistake like that. After queen captures on f6, Morphy plays a very nice move, f captures on e3 with a tempo on the knight and with a deadly threat of kingside castle with the check. So here Anderson played knight captures on c2 with the check. Morphy played king to e2, and in this position Anderson resigned the game. Here whatever black plays he's completely lost. For example, the most obvious move is knight capture a1. What happens here? Well, rook to f1 check, and after king to e7, queen captures on e5 with the check. King to d7 now, bishop to e6 check, king to c6, now rook to c1 check, king b6, and queen to b5 checkmate. This is pretty straightforward, but after king to e2, you don't want to capture the rook as your king is getting hammered here. Let's try queen capture on c7, removing on of the attacker. If this was played, then again rook a to f1 check, king to e7, and now rook to f7, and well, queen is lost, but not only the queen. After king to d8, rook captures on c7, capturing the queen and also attacking the knight on c2, and after the king captures rook, then rook to c1, pinning the knight, and there's simply too much material for white, and this is winning. And approach for Anderson after this king to e2 by Morphy instead of resigning would be to play g6. But this also losses on the spot, rook a to f1 check, king to g7, now rook f7 check, king to g8 only move, and now rook to d7 with checkmate. And even after this rook f1, if the king doesn't go to g7, for example bishop to f5 was played, even this has a crushing continuation, rook capture f5 check, and after g captures on f5, queen to f7 check, king to g5, now knight to e6, pushing the king further and winning the queen. Though queen doesn't need to be captured here, it's a forced checkmate. Feel free to pause the video if you want to solve it and comment down in the comments section. So Anderson understood all this and resigns the game. A beautiful game. My favorite game of Paul Morphy in this match. Hope you liked the video. Like and comment down if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!